Good morning, everyone, and welcome to my podcast. My name is Lynette. Today we're going to talk about adversity or excuses. And this has to do with when you have opportunities. It's so easy to make excuses why you can't do it or why you failed or why maybe you didn't think you did as well as you should have. And it's not always the reality of the situation, because the truth is that no matter what our situation is, we can still achieve and become great at anything. We can become who we were meant to be. We can become the individual that we are. I want to share some of my major excuses with you. I know in previous episodes I shared with you that before I got sick, I was into acting and commercial modeling. And then I started having mobility problems, and I tried to hide it, but it was pretty much impossible to hide after a while. So somebody suggested that I get into voiceover work. So I got the equipment, set things up the best that I knew how. And then my voice started to go out on me. I started to have a very gravelly voice. I started to lose my voice. And so I thought, oh man, I'll never become a good voice actor with my voice like that. Who's going to want me? And then because of my mobility, I couldn't stand up. Sometimes to be into character, you need to stand up so you can really do the physical emotions. I couldn't stand up. That was another excuse. So I started really getting down on myself. But the ultimate one was I was worried about that I didn't have enough acting experience. When I first started to get sick, I was actually going to school and I did study some acting. But I couldn't go on and continue into school because of my mobility. So I was like, poor me. Every time I try to achieve something, I feel like I'm being hammered down by Mother Nature. Just in doing research and trudging forward and doing the best that I knew how to do, I learned that all of these things that happen to us, all of these adversities, make us who we are. My voice, even if it goes out, even if it's raspy, whatever the situation is, that's what makes me an individual. And there is somebody out there in this world that will want a voice exactly like mine. And not being able to stand to do my physical emotions, I felt like that was an excuse also, because I can still get around that. As far as the acting classes go, with remote learning, etc., I can push through that as well. But the big picture is I was starting to get down on myself, starting to feel sorry for myself. It's like every time I try to do something happens to knock me down. But then I realized through the grace of God that we are who we are, and that's what makes us individuals. Nobody is perfect. No matter what your situation is, there is a situation out there especially designed for you. And it is rather exciting to see when those doors open where it's going to take you. By having this attitude that you're where you're supposed to be at that particular moment makes you able to accept roadblocks in life a little bit easier. You handle life with grace and you become a happier person. There is never going to be anybody right in front of you that says, turn your life to the left, turn your life to the right, do this, do that. No, we all take chances. We do the best we can do. And if something does redirect us, we can't take it as a failure. You take it as, I am supposed to regroup and go another way. Because life has a way of pulling the rug out from under you if you are on the wrong path or the wrong direction. And instead of looking at that as a negative, that you should embrace it and realize that the universe, God, whatever is looking out for you, and be happy and be excited that you're being redirected to a happier situation. And no matter who you are, no matter what you're doing, there is only one of you, and you just got to believe that you're going to connect with the right people or person at the right time. You know what they say, it's not the destination, it's a journey. And the journey can be fun and exciting. And I think we should spend our time feeling that excitement, feeling that joy, because most of life is actually the journey. The destination is for a short period of time. It's even like when you go on vacation, for example. You're in the car driving there. The journey is a majority of the time. You're actually where you need to be for a brief part of it. But getting there is the excitement, the anticipation. And that's what it is. The anticipation of what you're going to do, who you're going to be. But the best part of it is, no matter what your situation is, there is nobody on this earth like you. You are unique just as you are, just who you are. Your talents are perfect. But speaking of talents, no matter what you're trying to achieve, whether it be gardening, homemaking, acting, bank supervisor, whatever it is, you still need to work hard and be the best you can be, even though we trust that we will achieve greatness just as we are. Part of being as we are and who we are is striving to be better and better at what we're doing. When I first got into voiceover, I wasn't really sure about what I was doing. So I did what I thought was a preliminaries, made my demos, signed up with somebody, blah, blah, blah. And it takes me to another situation. Sometimes when we reach that point where somebody wants us, somebody finds value in what we have to offer, we need to accept that. We need to accept greatness. And I'm going to share another story with you. When I was looking online, I saw the platform that I'm signed up with, and it said demos, people in this agency that did demos. I went to it, and my name and my photo was at the top of the list for the females. And instead of accepting it, wow, I guess I did a good job, I instantly thought, it must be my computer. My computer must have put me at the top of the list. So that was the first thing. Then the second thing is I got an email from the agency, and they said, how would you like to do competition for that very thing, for the demos? They said we select one person each year, one male, one female, who is getting the most. It's like a like. I can't remember what they called it. Well, I thought, this must be a scam. But I said, okay. Well, then they said you won. And again, I'm thinking, oh, please, I doubt very much that I won. That I really won. I figured there must be something to it. Instead of accepting that I had value in what I was doing, I kept finding excuses why I did not have value. And I'm being very candid with you, because to accept that I do have value in what I do, that we are all capable, no matter what we're doing, no matter what our situation is. If we believe, if we work hard, if we take the steps forward, we can do it. Yes, we are valuable. We can achieve to be the best. So the end of this story is they sent me a trophy, and in my head, I thought it was going to be one of those little gold trophies. I didn't expect much. But it came in this beautiful black box that was lined in black velvet. And it was a crystal engraved, very expensive looking, very professional trophy. And it wasn't until I got that it became a reality. So I missed the joy of accepting that they found value in me. Instead, I kept making up excuses as to why it wasn't real. And as I said, I didn't realize that I had that, regardless of what your situation is, because everybody has a situation. And we are who we are, and we all have obstacles to get over. We're all going through something, but it doesn't mean that we're not valuable just as we are. And when you realize there's value in who you are, then you don't compare yourself with other people. And when you're asked to do something, professionally or otherwise, anything that takes you a little bit out of your comfort zone, you can accept it gracefully and confidently, just knowing that who you are at this moment, at this present moment, is good enough. And you can just be yourself. In fact, have you ever noticed that when people are obviously comparing themselves to others or trying too hard, that they don't come off as effectively? And this dwindles down even in photographs. If you're just relaxed and you're you, the photograph comes off better and your personality comes off better. I remember Drew Carey saying something about when you forget about who the audience is and you just be you, then it becomes very easy. And what's so unique and so exciting about all of this is that the easy way is the best way. Now, how often do you hear that? That the easy way is the best way. And just being you, I mean, what could be better than that? It doesn't matter what others think. I think they appreciate the newness that you bring to a situation. One time I was doing a modeling job. I was standing on a stage with a bunch of mannequins. And my instinct was to stand there very still like a mannequin and then all of a sudden start moving. The girl that was filming it said, "You're standing there too long." But my instinct was to stay there frozen for a while so I would look like a mannequin. And I did. I did what I felt was correct. I mean, you don't want to defy instructions, but you have to do what comes instinctively also. Well, then after that was over, that girl, I can't remember if she called me or came over, but she said, "Don't tell them I told you not to do that," because she wanted the credit for it because they liked it. They liked the way it was done. And it just felt right to me. Sometimes our instincts is what they want. And again, it's not about defying instructions, because I know you need to follow instructions. But there's also something to be said for the uniqueness of who you are and bringing that to the table also. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about, and this falls in line with making excuses for not being who you think you should be or where you think you should be. Where you are is good enough. In fact, it's better than good enough. But the third phase to this, it's okay to feel certain ways, and the purpose of feeling it is not to be down on yourself, but to correct it. And one of the things that I realized about myself is when somebody would offer to buy me lunch or whatever, I'd say, no, it's okay, you don't need to. And then I realized nobody is twisting their arm. If they want to buy me lunch, that's great. They want to spend time with me, and you accept it gracefully. So part of all this, and to sum it all up, is when we are going after a goal, that we don't make excuses for our shortcomings, because everybody has adversities that if they let them, they can affect them. But that's part of what makes you who you are. The other thing is, remember, you're an individual and you are as valuable as anybody else. And when there is someone who sees that value in you, accept it. Just know your value. Know you're doing a good job. Continue to work at being good at that job. And then when people acknowledge you with gifts or lunch or flowers or even compliments, accept it gracefully because they like you or they love you. What's interesting about that is when you allow people to show you love, you're able to reciprocate and show love back. And when you're not so bogged down with trying to be like someone else or making excuses, I mean, this is all the stuff that makes life hard. But just accepting who you are at that time and know that your best is good enough and believing that you are a valuable human being and people love you for who you are, not for who you think you should be, but for who you are. And when twists and turns come up in life, it's just to redirect you. So enjoy the journey. And when you find yourself relaxing in who you are able to give more. And you're able to take a little more time to show somebody else how valuable they are. Like when you give a birthday card, for example, write a few more sentences about what that person means to you. So it all evolves into one wonderful, unique situation that just being you is who you should be. And because there is only one of you, that people want to be with you because you are unique and you are yourself and you're wonderful just as you are. And pass the love on down in a card, in a compliment, just in a look, just calling someone to see how they're doing. It all makes all the difference in the world. And if we do that for each other, not only does it bring us peace coming from in front of us, but it brings peace behind us that we're handing down to somebody else. With all that being said, I thank you, and I will talk to you next week. Bye-bye.